If you've hit the end of the year thinking, this is not the life that I want to be living, then there's one very important question that we need to answer.
What do you want? What do you want?
It's not that simple.
What do you want?
But honestly, that question can be so much harder to answer than it originally seems. And even when we do know the answer, the follow-through, that is a real challenge. So this year, I am all about creating a joyful, intentional life, and that starts with setting goals that feel joyful and intentional. Because there is nothing worse than reaching the end of another year and realizing you've spent it chasing someone else's version of success, or you missed out on what really matters to you. So let's do this together. I'm going to walk you through the 4 steps that I use to set goals that don't just look good on paper, but actually bring you joy and purpose and fulfillment. And stick around because I'll also guide you through a special visualization exercise that helps you to truly connect with your goals, something that you can even come back to maybe as a little meditation, whenever it is that you need a reminder of where you're headed. So step number 1, vision setting. Before we dive into the goals, let's take a step back. If we are going to set goals that feel joyful and intentional, then we kind of need a really clear vision of what it is that we want in the first place. Sometimes it can feel daunting to pick goals, and then halfway through the year, you realize you completely missed an area that's actually really important to you. So to make sure that I don't forget any part of my life, I think of my goals in a few categories. These categories are like little prompts to make sure that you're not neglecting an important aspect of your life. I think through my work and health and wealth and relationships and personal growth. Because a high-flying career with a struggling relationship, that is not what I'm striving for. Healthy relationships are just as important to a joyful life as a fulfilling career, in my personal opinion. Now, as you're thinking through each of these areas, I want you to pause for a second and really consider what matters most to you in each category. What do you truly want in each category? Let's dig into some questions to reveal what it is that you're really aiming for. So here's a few to get you started. What worked well this past year? Maybe it was a new routine that gave you more energy, or taking time each week to be with loved ones in a way that felt really meaningful. And then on the flip side of that, what did not work so well? Perhaps there were some commitments that drained you, or you spent time on activities that felt like distractions, and think about basically what didn't feel aligned with the life that you actually want to be living. Ask yourself, what do I want to change in the coming year? Do you want more time for creativity, a bit more financial security, or even more room to enjoy the simple pleasures of life without feeling rushed at all? And think about, if I could do anything next year without the risk of failure, what would it be? Maybe it's starting a passion project, or traveling more, or creating more space for self-care and wellness. And finally, what am I absolutely not willing to do or experience to have my ideal year? This could be saying no to late nights, or minimizing time spent on social media, or taking on just fewer things that don't serve you in the life you want to live. Now, if you're worried about jotting down all these questions as we go, don't stress. I've actually put together a complimentary PDF with all of the prompts and categories that we're covering today. You can get it at the description below if that tickles your fancy. Let's take a little time with these questions and jot down anything that comes to mind. You will start to notice patterns and desires that maybe will surprise you. And this is basically the foundation setting for setting really meaningful goals that support your lifestyle and the life that you're aiming to create. And once you have a sense of what you want and what you don't want, very importantly, you're ready to start setting goals that reflect that vision. So we're crafting goals that, again, don't just sound good, they're actually aligned with the life that brings you fulfillment and joy. Step number 2 is the time audit. Now, you have your vision. Let's take a closer look at one of our most precious resources, and that is time. The way that you spend your time last year has quite literally shaped the life that you're living today. So think back over the past year. How did you spend your time? For those of you with business or specific work goals, this can be especially important to look at it in that sense. So take a look back at wherever you organize your work. For me, it's inside of my Asana. For you, maybe it's a calendar or a variety of notes just like strewn across your desk. And just take a look at what projects and tasks took up most of your time in the past year. Only when you really do this will you get an actual sense of where your time is going to, and if that's aligned with the life that you want to live. One of the biggest reasons that we don't reach our goals is that we're not spending our time on the needle movers, as I call them, those tasks that actually make the biggest difference to our progress. So ask yourself, is what I spent my time on really moving me closer to my goals, or did I get caught up in life and outside factors dictating to me how I spend my time? Now, here are a few questions to do a time audit for yourself. Which activities or commitments truly added value to your life? These can be tasks that made an impact on your work or your business, like completing a major project or connecting with clients in a meaningful way, or investing in some sort of skill building. Or maybe they might be moments outside of work, like spending quality time with loved ones or focusing on your health. And then think about what took up more time than it should have. Maybe it was endless email checking or low priority tasks or projects that just kind of didn't actually produce the results that you wanted. Or perhaps it was saying yes to commitments that drained you instead of adding to your life. And then again, think through, what do you want to spend more time on? Are there any high impact work tasks that you want to prioritize, or personal pursuits like creative hobbies or restful moments or connecting more deeply with others? For example, if you spent most of your time last year on smaller repetitive tasks, but not enough on the big picture planning or creative work, then it might be time to shift your focus. Small tasks can keep us busy, but they don't always get us closer to the bigger goals that we want to achieve. So take a moment to jot down any thoughts that come to mind as we go. And remember, again, if you want all the questions in one place, there's the PDF, which you can get in the description below. So with your time audit, you're not just reflecting, you're also getting conscious of what boundaries you need to set around your time. The end goal is to organize your time so that it's spent focusing on the things that truly will get you to where you want to be. So get brutally honest with yourself. What do you need to say no to in order to protect your time for what's genuinely the most important? So as you think through how you want to adjust your schedule in the new year, what do you want to stop doing? What do you want to start doing? And ask yourself, how can you practically make small changes that allow you to spend more time on the things that you want to do? One year, I wanted to go to the gym more often, but it felt like it wasn't possible because I was constantly needing to be home to let handyman in or the cleaner, and so I decided to give the cleaner a key and batch all the handymen onto one day of the week, meaning I actually had time to leave the house and head to the gym. And that's just like a very small example of getting very conscious of what is blocking you from spending your time on the things that matter to you. So once you know where you want to spend your time and where you want it to go, you're ready to start organizing your days around that vision. Step number 3, deciding on your projects and tasks. Now that we've clarified our vision, we've done our little time audit, let's get specific. It's time to break down those big goals into actual steps that will lead to realizing those goals. Sometimes goals can feel overwhelming because they're just too big to tackle in one go. And this step is all about making things a bit more manageable so we don't feel stuck before we've even gotten started. There are 2 main types of actions that help us reach our goals: projects and ongoing tasks. Projects are those one-off actions that help you make a big step forward, like redesigning a room in your home. And ongoing tasks are those things that you need to do regularly to maintain that progress, like keeping a daily or weekly tidying routine to help keep your space beautiful and calm. Now, for example, if one of your goals is to create a calm, beautiful living space, your project could be something like decluttering and redecorating a room or organizing your closet to make it feel more fresh and inspiring and organized. And once you've created that project, your ongoing task might be to maintain that calm environment with daily or weekly tidying routines. So take a look back at your goals for each area that we talked about, whether it's health or wealth or work or relationships or personal development, and list out all the projects or tasks that you need to help you achieve each one of those goals. And ask yourself, is this a one-off project? Is this an ongoing task? And then decide what that project or task is. For example, again, if you want to grow a blog, maybe you decide to post weekly. And then if 3 months in, you realize that's not getting you to your goal at the pace that you intended, you can adjust it and up it to posting twice weekly, for example. Now, when your goals are organized into clear projects and tasks and habits, you'll find that they feel less intimidating and much more achievable. Now, this is how you make real progress. One project and task at a time, not just focusing on this large, impossible, looming goal that just feels so out of reach. Now, I love ticking off little tasks because with each one, I get a bit of a dopamine rush of getting closer and closer to my goal, even if there's 100 little tasks between me and reaching my goal. And also, my Asana randomly shoots a unicorn across the screen whenever I've ticked off enough tasks too, which of course helps greatly with the dopamine hit too. Step number 4, putting it somewhere you'll see it. Now that you have your goals and you've broken them into specific projects and tasks, let's make sure they just don't end up on a notebook or planner somewhere gathering dust. How many times have you gotten to the end of the year and realized, I not only didn't reach my goals, I actually completely forgot about them? I'm fully guilty of that one too. So if that's you, believe me, I can relate to this. There was 2 years in a row where I went about my annual planning. I loved dreaming up all the ideas and making this beautiful plan for myself, and then I literally forgot about it and got busy and genuinely didn't look at those goals until the next year's annual planning session. So if you've ever done that, step number 4 is kind of crucial. This is where you take those goals and projects and tasks and put them somewhere visible where you'll actually notice them throughout the year. So think about, what do you look at regularly? What gives you your daily marching orders for the day? For me, again, it's my Asana. It's where I plan my work tasks and my calendar and where I schedule in the big projects. I check in on my goals quarterly so that I'm kind of faced with that. Did you achieve that or not? I basically create a task inside of my Asana called goal and then whatever the goal was, and then I place it on the last day of the quarter. So guaranteed, I cannot just forget about it because it's going to show up on my calendar right in front of me on March 31st, for example. Now, I might actually have duplicates in my Asana though, because I don't just want to see it at the end of a quarter. I also need a task to actually do the thing probably during the quarter. So for my website redesign project, for example, I assigned myself a task for the end of the quarter to check in. Did I do it? Did I accomplish it? But I also had a task in my Asana placed earlier on the date where I actually intended to do the work for that. So if you have a calendar or planner or another system, I encourage you to do the same. For example, if one of your goals is to deepen your relationships, maybe you set a monthly reminder to reach out to friends and family and organize a get-together. Or if you're building a new wellness habit, you could add in a weekly check-in to make sure you're actually sticking to it. So take those tasks and project and goals and pop them into whatever you're gonna look at right now. Because if you leave this planning session without actually putting them somewhere where you're going to see them, it'll kind of be like this whole planning session that we're doing together never really happened. Because only action gets them accomplished, not a bunch of well-intentioned dreams thought up on January 1st and forgotten about, like the middle child by February 2nd, spoken of as the middle child whose birthday is February 2nd. Okay, so now you've set your vision, done your time on it, broken your goals into tasks and projects, and then you've placed everywhere somewhere that you're gonna actually see them. You are setting yourself up for real progress, not just January 1st dreams, but goals that you'll actually be able to stay connected to all year. And every time that you check in on those projects, remember that this process is about building a life that truly aligns with what it is that you want. So to polish up, I want to invite you to do a quick visualization exercise to really anchor these goals and keep you motivated towards them. So take a moment, sit somewhere comfortable, and close your eyes. Take a breath and let yourself picture the moment when you have achieved one of these goals. Think back to the ones that you set yourself and choose the one to visualize now. Is it health or wealth or relationships or work or personal development? Settle upon one goal from one category in your mind and see it as complete. Imagine it's a day where everything you've been working towards has come together. What does the environment look like? Play this moment in your mind like you're sitting in a beautiful home watching this play out on a screen in front of you. You've done the work, you've stayed with it, and you've achieved the goal. Maybe you're sitting at your desk, feeling in control of your time, or maybe you're spending quality time with loved ones and you're truly present. Think about how you feel, calm and fulfilled, maybe even proud. Let yourself experience that feeling as though it's already real. And let this feeling be a reminder that each small step, each project, and each task that you're completing is bringing you closer to the moment that you envisioned. Well done on both the planning and the visualizing, and do come back to this anytime you want to be reminded of what it is that you're working towards and why it's important. If you found this planning session helpful, go ahead and download the prompts PDF from the description. If you've made it all the way to the end, kudos, you are clearly committed. I would love for you to let me know in the comments what your biggest goal is. But remember that an intentional, joyful life is on the other side of the implementation. If you've struggled in the past with staying organized enough to actually achieve your goals, do watch this video next where I walk you through how to use Asana, my project management tool of choice, to organize myself and my work.